Hey YouTube, this is my project for today. Trying to get the stink out of our Whirlpool Duet front loader washer. So I went ahead and ordered a new rubber seal for the front, but started taking taking it apart. There are a couple of really good videos out there for taking it apart. Well, I say good. I won't necessarily say good because some of them make it seem a heck of a lot easier than it's supposed to. One video I'll probably post a link to that other video, which is done quite well as far as taking it apart, but there's a couple of key things missing. One of the key things missing is getting to the getting the trim ring off. Okay, it actually shows they're not very thorough on showing you that this little plastic piece stays on when you are popping the face trim. This is the face trim that this is the face trim that comes off. You'll see that at a certain point of the video that I will post a link to, and they just pop it right off. Comes off super easy. Well, it's not so much the case. You've got to be careful over here when you're popping it off of this trim piece over here. I thought I had broke it, but I don't think I did. This backing piece with the clips stays on, and the other one. So I actually, on one side I took it off with the trim ring, on the other side I did not. But I think I'm still okay. But keep in mind that does not come off, does not just pop off super easy as they claim. Next piece is the front panel. That was even significantly worse to try to figure out. When they pop it off, they just stick a screwdriver in two spots over here and boom, it just pops right off. Well, absolutely not the case. What the hidden trick is on this right side over here. Getting behind there to get this clip that hooks to the side right over here. That one was a mother. That used my Harbor Freight plastic automotive prying tools to pop that off. Once I got that unhooked, then it was a little bit easier. Still had to pop these. These were still hanging on quite hard. Much harder than they made it appear in the video. Then we get into the meat of things over here. So what I did is I went ahead and I took the boot off. When I took the boot off, yeah, it had some mold on it. It didn't smell near as bad as I expected to. There was some smells though, as you can see. Hopefully in the background this noise isn't too high. I've got my Ryobi fan going over here to pull the stink out, because oh boy, did it smelled awful. Right over here sits the drain motor. There's a drain tube and a drain motor. The drain tube and the drain motor I now have in the slop sink over here, because I'm going to soak them and clean them. So this part unscrews out the front. Have your shop vac ready to catch the water. I unscrewed this out the front, sucked all the water with the shop vac. There were a couple of things trapped in here. A couple of makeup pads from the ladies in the house. That are too small for the washer, so they actually got trapped in here. Maybe that was part of the problem that kind of slowed things up and got so much kind of sludge in here. It smelled absolutely awful when I unscrewed this. So I pulled that goes in here. This motor sits in the front of the washer like so. Essentially sits on the front of the motor like this. Popped all the hoses, popped this off the front, and then unhook these little feet from under here, underneath these little holes here, and then the motor pops forward after you remove the hoses. Then when I pulled this out, I then unscrewed the motor off of it. The motor I have sitting up here, so 3 screws, that motor pops right off. Now I'm going to clean all that stuff out. Also removed the drain hoses. So the drain hose, I've got them sitting in the mirror here in the window because they smell so bad. So this is your outside drain hose. This other one is the drain hose that goes from that motor underneath the barrel up to the back of the washer over here, out that hole. That was also pretty mired up with sludge. So I pulled them both out. Pretty gross, smells pretty nasty. So this is, again, this is the drum. This is the drain that goes from the drum down to the drain motor. It actually has this large ball in it. It's basically a check ball, so it can't back flush. You can squeeze that up out of there, basically pop it out. It'll pop right back in again after I clean it. So you can see this is pretty nasty. I've got this sitting in water. I've got a little bit of bleach in here. I'm gonna let it sit for a while, let all this stuff sit for a while, scrub it with a brush, put it all back. I actually had one of those makeup pads was up in the drum. You can actually see that. One good way, put a flashlight down in here like you see I have down in there, and then when you spin the drum, it kind of lets you see things a little bit better, because I guess works just like a TV camera, right? It speeds up the frame rate of the holes going by, so you can see if there's anything trapped in there. So I actually did have some stuff I had to reach up with my hands. The heating coil is down there, so clean all that out. So once I clean all these drains, clean all the motors, I got to assume that the smell of this washer should go away for quite some time. I've got a new front door seal, and everything will be clean. So it wasn't too terrible. If I had to do this again, now knowing exactly what I'm getting into, I could probably get it done in less than an hour, popping everything out and popping everything back in again. So I may, if the washer ever, but hopefully this will get rid of the smell. I may report back later, and we'll see how long it stays away. If I have to do this once every 2 years, it's, not too bad of a task. So I have most of the parts reinstalled, cleaned out. What I did do is makeshift pipe brush. Essentially took a bottle brush and put some paracord, some rope, about midway, dropped the rope through the hose, through one end of the hose, and then just pulled it back and forth with the rope. Got a lot of the sludge out of there. Only took a few minutes doing that. $15 for a drain hose, if you'd rather go that route at Lowe's. But then I also did the exact same thing with the return drain hose over here. It goes from the pump up to where it connects at the top of the washer with the other drain hose. And I put all this back in. What I did is I connected this, put the motor back on, and snaked everything up, so it's just a matter of popping it into place. The biggest pain in the neck by far to get back in place was that large clamp right over here. That was a real pain in the behind. I hate these clamps. I'm an engineer by trade. I'd like to get my hands around the neck of whoever decided these are a good thing, and I know they're still commonly used in washers and automotive, and I just can't stand these things. I fought with it with pliers. There are some special tools that you can purchase that work halfway decent at clamping those, but that's a very large one, so it needs quite a bit of swing. What I wound up doing is, and if I would do it again, I would do it out here before I put it on there. That one's actually just big enough to even fit in place when it's completely fully compressed. It barely slides over. You have to actually force it to slide over where it needs to sit. The only way I was able to actually finally get it in place is to use a zip tie. I clamped it first with the vice grips while it was down here and more accessible. Closed it, and then I put the zip ties around the end to keep it in place. Then I was able to get it up there and then clip the zip tie. So that's one trick you may want to try if you're fighting with that as much as I was. So this again, this is all back in place again. In reverse order, what I had done is I had gotten a shop vac, put it right here, and unscrewed this. This is basically your well, now that I have it open, I can pop that open now. Unscrewed this. I guess this is something from a maintenance standpoint. You can come in here and clean out the drain in case you have things stuck, and I did have things stuck in there. This was pretty nasty, had a few things in it. When you unscrew this, there is going to be all this water in this hose, so be prepared to catch that. Again, I used a shop vac and held it right here while I unscrewed that. And the smell coming out of here when I unscrewed it was absolutely horrendous. So be prepared for that. Have a window open. And again, cleaned all this out. This is you know, heck of a lot cleaner than it was. You know, a lot of black residue in there, a lot of gunk in these elbows, down here, especially at the top, a lot of gunk. Got all that cleaned out, and I'm gonna put a new rubber seal around here, and hopefully that should get rid of all the stink.